Today I want to talk a little bit about what's the process of getting consent for a listed building. And let's start from the very beginning. So before you even start thinking about getting consent for a listed building, you're obviously aware that you do have a listed building, which is why hopefully you're watching this video, and you're looking to do some work. So clearly the first step is to identify what work you're looking to do. Now, having a listed building doesn't mean to say that you can't put on an extension out the back or some modern additions, but it's being really clear about what it is you want. Once you've got kind of a clear kind of brief of what it is you're looking to do, what changes you might be looking to make internally and externally, then you can effectively work with the architect to fundamentally get a set of package drawings and statements together to make a submission for listed building consent and planning permission if it's required. So listed building consent covers the inside changes and planning permission is likely to cover the external changes. In some instances, the two will cross over and you will get both applications submitted at the same time. The cost for making a listed building application is free, but the cost of making a planning application varies on subject to whether you're a householder or a flat or something different. You might be a commercial unit making changes. So in terms of the next step, once you've got a clear idea of what it is you're looking to do, then it's essentially a bit like getting normal planning permission. You put together your drawings. It's likely with a listed building consent, you'll spend a little bit more time on the detail of those drawings, identifying the particular heritage aspects that are of sort of value to the building, making sort of clear photographs, descriptions, statements that go with that. And it may be that you have to do some background research, or your architect needs to do some background research, either working closely with a heritage consultant that kind of engages on those sort of things, or working, with historic records, either from the local library or architectural history books, or even the local authority may have some history on the estate if it is a sort of estate where there are multiple listed buildings by the same architect or similar sort of things. So process is drawings, detailed drawings and additional statements to kind of support what it is you're proposing to do. And that is kind of the starting process of dealing with a listed building. You will need to factor in some additional fees for your architect to prepare a planning package and a listed building consent package for a listed building because of the additional work that's required to do that. It's not as straightforward as a normal planning application, and sometimes a little bit more thought and process needs to go into it. One of the things you also probably want to be aware of is when you do get permission for your listed building is sort of discharge of conditions. Sometimes the local authority will want a lot more information about the materials being used. They may ask for sample boards, and they may even ask for sort of 1 to 10 details of various elements if they are particular to the building. And obviously the consultants won't have a foresight as to what the council may ask for from the outset, so you may be charged additional for those discharge of conditions. If you want to safeguard around that and perhaps get a head start as to what may or may not be allowed around sort of listed buildings, you may want to factor in a pre-application before any planning application is made. And that's a kind of informal process where a submission is made to the council to say, this is what you're looking to get permission for, and then sort of breaking it down into smaller chunks so that you can have that discussion with the council before a formal planning application is made. The benefit of a pre-application is that you do get some sort of written guidance if that's the route you take down. And some councils don't offer written guidance. They have kind of a tiered structure in terms of fees. So some councils don't offer written guidance for householders. And in that instance, you may get a meeting with the local officer. The key is to record everything that has been said if you don't get the written guidance. But that written guidance is normally a key indicator of whether or not the council will support the scheme. And typically with a listed building, particularly if you are doing sort of multiple changes and it is a higher listing, so sort of grade 1 or grade 2 star listing, a pre-application is probably likely to be beneficial if you're making sort of extensive changes that are likely to be a little bit controversial, or you need to be able to have that conversation with the heritage officer at the outset. So Once you've got your drawings, you may consider a pre-application, then make the formal submission with the additional information that may have been requested. And at pre-application, they may then tell you what conditions may be imposed, in which case you may factor that into your formal application. So there are multiple steps. There are different ways to do it. And the best people to advise you on how to kind of go about that is likely to be your architect and planning consultant and potentially a heritage consultant working in tandem. The key with a listed building that you may need to engage with further consultants depending on the specialities and the respective requirements of that building, but allow yourself plenty of time to make those applications before you're looking to start the works. Hope you found that useful. There are plenty more information about listed buildings on our website.